Hello, each and every one of you out there. It has been 6 months, 6 months or more since the firebomb, June the 29th. And I found a whole lot of stuff out since then, and a lot of different information. This is actually where I was sitting that night. It was exactly 9:14 p.m., June the 29th. I was here because the van was wrecked, which I'm here today because of that. But I want to go into some stuff today that has never been told, and stuff that I have found out since the 6 months from the firebomb. And we're going to do it now. And this is just my intro right here. For one thing, the night of the firebomb, and this was left out somehow, and I had actually called 911. Not on this phone, but on one just like it. When I was in the bathroom, the second time I came back in, before the smoke started coming in. Actually, the smoke was coming in at that time. I called 911 twice. And both times I got hung up on. 911 hung up on me. And that's just a part of what I want to talk about today here with this. And the rest of it. Okay. As we all remember, this is the incident that happened first. It was at 5:15 p.m., June the 29th. And I was dealing with this to start with, which you can hear this right here. Okay, I haven't done nothing to nobody. Leave me alone. And this was what was happening to begin with. As you can see, I made a 2-hour movie out of this. I didn't put this part in the movie. It should have been in there, but I didn't. Maybe I'll remake it someday, because I got the stuff to remake it with. But this happened here at 5:15 p.m. And this was the guy from the yard sale building. As you already know, if you've seen some of my videos and stuff here. And some of the stuff that I haven't talked about yet. No, not that. This is the night of the fire right here. And I have the original movie here from that night right here. Yeah, no, not. Yeah, that. Okay, that's the remake of the original movie that I made from that night. And as you can see, the recreation. But the thing that I need to talk about in this here is, I originally called 911 that night. And there's other issues that come to mind right now that tells me that this absolutely was a conspiracy, this here, to burn me down. Hold on, let me find it. This was part of the original video recordings from that night. From the police and all that stuff that happened that night. And, it's not working, my thing's not working so good here. This is a part of the original, hold on. Okay, this is a part of the original recordings from that night, from the fire. And one thing that I found out is there's at least 6 people was involved with this that night. And I'm not going to mention names on this thing. I'm not going to mention anybody's names or anything. But I recently found out that not only did the guy across the street at the yard sale building do this, but both places that was holding the yard sales. I'm not going to mention names, but this was an attempt to burn me alive by both people, and there's 6 others that was involved with it, in addition to this. This is the actual recording from the night that it happened here. And this is a part of the movie that I made, which I need to remake with all the rest of this information in it. But, one of the things I found out was, like I said, I originally called 911 that night. 911 I called, and I got hung up on twice. And I found out that I had this friend, I'm not going to mention names or anything like that, I thought to be friend. I thought she was a friend that friended me the night of the fire. And this is the movie that I'm playing right now. That was from the night of the fire. Um, now, this lady friended me for 6 months and wanted to know when I was coming home, and oh, I'm concerned about you, and I'm concerned about when you're coming home and all that stuff. And I recently found out, you know what I mean, and she told me herself. She knows the fire department. She knows all the people in town. She knows the people that did, did this in the fire and everything. You know what I mean? I didn't connect it back then, or I suspected, but I didn't, I'm not going to say who it is. I'm not going to do that, but I am going to say that, here's what I am going to say. It was all planned, and all of this friendship thing, it wasn't for real. And the way she told me that she had a divine force, a divine, foretelling that when the fire alarm went off that night, that it was my house that was burning. Get that. She said that, oh, I knew that it was your house burning because my divine power told me. If that doesn't sound hokey to you, I didn't catch it then. I guess I caught it, but I just didn't want it, if you know what I mean. But she knows the fire department, she knows everything, and yeah, it was all interconnected together. I mean, the reason that she knew about the fire is because, well, if you can figure that part of it out, it was all planned. Yeah, she showed up here, and she wanted me. There's when I'm in the ambulance right there. And I fell for all of that, you know what I mean? I allowed myself to believe in that, you know what I mean? But this lady was good. She was real good, I'll tell you that right now. And I actually used her in the recreation of this movie. So if you go back and look at this movie, it's labeled Night of the Fire. I think it's either Night of the Fire or Night of the Fire Bomb. One of the two. And she's in this movie, actually. I don't know if you can see her or not, but because I'm not going to mention names. But it was all planned. 911, when I called this 911, they hung up on me. That was a part of it. And it was a conspiracy. There's at least 8 different people involved with this that night, if you know what I mean. At least 8 different people. And when the reason that she wanted to know when I was coming home and worried about me and all this is, well, for someone they wanted wanted to know when I was home so they could you know what I mean. Wanted me to be there so they could burn me up alive. Basically, that's what it was. Attempted murder. You know what I mean? Tempted to get rid of me. Attempted murder. That's what it was. And when that didn't work, this lady befriended me or pretended to befriend me. Until recently, which I found out the truth. The truth always comes out. I mean, it always comes out. I mean, the divine maker didn't tell her that my house was on fire. The reason she knew was because she was a part of it. Which I've always believed. And that guy in the blue truck, which, that's on here too. The guy with the blue truck. I have to close this down to get to it. This guy right there, main instigator, the one that caused it. After he came after me, accused me of all kinds of stuff.
I done nothing to nobody.
Alright, well, it stopped, but anyway, that's the part right there. Remember that? This guy came after me.
Go ahead, call him.
I called the police that night. This was 3 hours before the fire happened right here. This guy that runs the local yard sale building across the street, that place is gone now. It's gone. It's closed. And I believe the divine force closed it, if you know what I mean. But this is the, part of which this guy came after me. And then 3 hours later, after I was threatened with my being burned up and fire and all this stuff by this guy the day before, which isn't on here, then the fire happens. This lady shows up 10 minutes after the thing, telling me some divine force told her my house was on fire. Hokey. I believe in divine powers just like you do, but she knows the fire department and all that stuff, if you know what I mean. This here was 3 hours before the fire happened. Back in theater mood. Hold on. But Anyway, the reason that she knew that it was planned for 911 to hang up on me, it was planned for me to burn up, or get rid of me. All of this stuff was planned. I mean, the reason this lady wanted to know that when I came home was because she wanted to, you know, mess with my house, mess with me, mess with whatever. I mean, none of this ever made any sense. This lovely friendship thing she came up with, and I'm not mentioning any names, but she never wanted to, she never wanted to befriend me. She wanted to destroy me. That was what the whole thing was about. And this was right here was a part of it right here, what you're seeing. This, the fire itself, all was a part of it, if you know what I mean. This whole thing was a part of it. The house burning up, there's the fire, all of it. It was all part of it. That's in the movie right here. Night of the Firebomb. And this was all a part of it. This is a recreation of that night, which I'll never forget. And here it is. There's when they're full of the firebomb. That's it right there. But you saw that firebomb right there. When I went into the backyard. And all of this was planned. None of it was real. All of it was planned. Everything was planned. I mean, from this... I'm sorry. From this right here... That's happened at 5:15 p.m. 911 hung up on me. They hung up the phone on me twice. And I've been accused, I don't know how many times, of starting my own fire, which is a bunch of BS. Because I know, I know what I know. Let's put it that way. I know who did it, okay? And I don't have to give you do I have to give you a great big blue hint? I don't know. Anyway, never mind. But anyway, we're talking about the recent showings that I've seen so far. You know what I mean? And the other issues from that night, which is that what we're playing right here, is they tried to get rid of me. I called 911 that night, and they hung up on me twice. Accused me of starting my own fire, and basically did nothing. This lady, all her friendship and all that stuff, was all fake. Every bit of it was fake. This here is in the movie, and it's also a live recording of that night from everything that happened. And I'll tell you something. It still scares me to this day, and I guess it always will, if you know what I mean. Always will scare me. Because it would scare anybody. I mean, I relive this every day. I dream about this every day and night, if you know what I mean. Every day and night I dream about this. Never goes away. Here's a recording from from inside. There's a recording.
Hey, this help me! This is up there! Hey, call 911! 911! 911!
This is what happened that night. This is a recreation.
911!
There's when I called 911 right there.
911! Jesus, help me!
That's when I called 911.
My God! My God! My house is on fire! Oh my God! My God, help me, please!
This is taken from that night.
Oh my God! Oh my God, look at this! Oh my God! Oh my God! It's everywhere! Oh.
Yes, this is a recreation, but this is what happened.
I don't know what to do. I gotta get some water. I gotta get the hose. I connect the hose.
This is what my dear friend did to me.
Water, please.
They wanted to get rid of me, so they did this.
Connect the hose.
So anyway, so much for that. But, I wanted to give you a report from the June 29th fire. If it hadn't been for... There's the firebomb that they threw right there. That is the actual firebomb they threw. I still have it. That is the actual firebomb they threw right there. And now I know what it is. Now I know what they wanted. Now I know why they did it. All of that. I know the whole thing now. The only thing I don't know is why. That's the only thing I don't know is why. I don't know why all of this happened. I really don't. But as I told you, I'm updating this because I did call 911 that night. The night of the firebomb, I called it. But they hung up on me. Someone planned it to get rid of me. There's at least 6 people, maybe more, was involved with it. But anyway, that's a recreation, a report of what happened that night. And that night will live in my mind forever, if you know what I mean. And last but not least, this was where I was that night. Right at this computer, sitting at this table when I heard that firebomb. And I was putting this story on about this truck thing that happened to me at the yard sale building when I heard the firebomb. From me to you, just bringing you an update of the happenings that 911 hung up on me twice. Fire department, I'm gonna leave that to you. They didn't even want to put that thing out. They started it. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna leave all of the rest of this in your thoughts because this is what I know. You know what I mean? I was right here when it started, and yeah, I know everything, but I just don't know the why. That still haunts me to this day, and I still have nightmares to this day, and I will forever. There isn't a night that goes by that I don't have a nightmare about this, and I still have it. Well, anyway, thank you. I wish you a good time, a good night, and I'll see you later.